Welcome back, Savages, to another video. In today's video we're going to be unboxing and setting up this Anyone router. But just before we do that, let's find out what it's all about. So the Anyone relay is essentially a plug and play device which is all about privacy and DePIN. It's configured for non-technical users to contribute to and use a network. And effectively, when it says plug and play, you just got to power it on, connect it to the Wi-Fi or the Ethernet, and you earn tokens for contributing your bandwidth. So what makes the Anyone network different from a VPN? Well, they say on here that the Anyone network doesn't track you and all the data is fragmented across the many relay operators. You can secure your apps and create new ones by routing through the Anyone router right here, and it works on Mac OS, Windows and Linux. There is a lot of work going on in the background with Anyone, and as you can see here, it mentions about desktop client and server apps, and more SDK options are coming soon. SDK stands for Software Development Kit. So they've got apps such as the Desktop Router app, Node Relay app. There's also going to be Android and iOS SDKs and an Anyone Python SDK as well. So when you purchase and run one of these Anyone Relay routers, you're going to be strengthening the network, and as a result you will be earning rewards. And the rewards are going to be in the form of a token called the Anyone token. And there's a bit of information just here about the actual Anyone token and how it incentivizes relay operators. There is a link to the tokenomics paper, so if you wanted to read more, you can click that link. Now everything you see on here is all on their website, which is the anyone.io website. I'll leave a link in the description so you can actually read through this, and there's lots of other documentation such as white papers as well. So in terms of the hardware, this is what it looks like, and we'll come on to the unboxing very shortly. And then there's a bit of information about how it works. These are the full specifications of the relay router. So it's got a dual core 1.5 GHz Cortex CPU, 4 GB of memory, 32 GB of upgradable storage. Other notable things are it's got encryption on there, automatic fans and ventilation. You've got a 1 gigabit Ethernet port, Wi-Fi 5 and also wireless 2.4 GHz. You can set it up through USB, and it's powered via USB Type-C, 12 volts at 3 amps. So make sure that the USB-C charger that you use to power this is at least 3 amps. So that's the specs out the way. Let's crack on with the unboxing. So here we are at the unboxing, and I've got to say the presentation on this case is unbelievable. Very nice, got nice rounded corners like that on the edges, well put together. Very nice. And there's a little pulley handle just here to lift the box, and it just opens up like that. Again, on the inside, some real thought and detail gone into making this. You've got specs of the actual relay in there, and a lot of them we talked about just earlier on while we were on the website. There's a QR code where you can just click on that and it'll give you the setup guide, and that's what we're going to follow. And this is what's inside. So first off, let's have a look at the Anyone router, and I've got to say that is a lot smaller than I expected. Normally routers are quite bulky, but with this it is very sleek, very nice. Let's just quickly measure the dimensions on that while we're here. So excluding the antenna across there, 10.5 centimeters, and it's about 11 this way. In terms of thickness, just over 2.5 centimeters thick. Very nice. So you've got like a sticker just here on the front. On this side you've got a cut out vent for ventilation right there. This is an antenna just here. Nothing on the front. So on this side you've also got a cut out for ventilation just here. There's a blue pressy button here which you use in the setup, Ethernet port, and there's a USB with a TP-Link USB device plugged into that. On the back of it there's 2 screws which presumably you can unscrew and get to the insides of the unit. There's a cutout right here for ventilation again, USB-C port which is where the power will go into, 2 micro USB ports just here, and there's another socket just here. In terms of on the back, you've got a couple of cutouts there, so if you're going to hang this on a wall somewhere, you've got 2 ready-made holes for that. And I've got to say, in terms of construction wise, it's very well put together. No sharp edges or anything like that, and it's all metal construction as well. So well done on the production of this, very nice and very compact. Next up, you get a sticker and getting started guide with your relay. Again, it's a QR code on the back. And there's a little box here on the right hand side. Let's just have a look in there. So you do get a USB cable in there, which is USB-A on one side and USB-C on the other. And you also get a USB stick as well, like that, and that just comes out. I believe this USB is used for doing firmware updates on the router itself. So if there's a new firmware update, you'd be able to install it onto this USB and then transfer this to the actual router and update it that way. So that's it in terms of the contents of the box. It's a shame they haven't included a mains adapter, especially when you need a pretty decent high powered one, but I've got an adapter kicking about at home, so I'm just going to use that. So before we go any further, I just want to get an idea of how much power this unit consumes just out of the box before we set it up. So let's go ahead and try that. So I've got the device just here with the USB-C end plugged in at the back. The other end is USB-A, and we'll be plugging into this USB adapter just here. And we've also got the power meter. Now the power meter is showing 0.2 watts because that's how much this is consuming. So we'll take that figure off at the end. Let's go. So I've just plugged this in and you get a green circle just here. So we've now got a red light and the wattage is around about 4.3 watts. So I just wanted to give you an idea of power consumption. Okay, so that's all done. Now let's crack on with the setup. So I'm just on the app right here. I'm following the setup guide. As you can see, there's two types of red indicators. If it's flashing like this, this means that the power supply is not adequate because you need a minimum of 15 watts at 5 volts 3 amps. So ours is fine because we've got a steady red light on ours, so we should be good. So now it's telling us to press the blue button on the side for 3 seconds. So now that that's gone blue, we've effectively activated a Wi-Fi hotspot. So I'm going to go ahead and try and connect to that, and it should be called relay up underscore and your serial ID. For the password, it's anyone.io. Once you've entered the password, click on join. So when you've done that, it'll automatically forward you to the Anyone router setup. So we'll just click on agree. For the password, it's admin. So you'll get this screen where you can choose between router only setup or relay and router setup. So we'll go with relay and router setup because you can share your bandwidth to earn rewards. Then it asks you what's your preferred method, Ethernet or Wi-Fi. I think we'll go with Wi-Fi. At this point, select the Wi-Fi network you're going to use and click on connect. And it's just come up with a message saying you are successfully connected to the network. Proceed. So you can give the relay a name and enter an email as well. So I've given my relay a name and an email address. Click on next. So next up you need to enter your ETH address, and I've already done that. The other thing you need to do is port forward, and the port you need to forward is 9001. So I've already gone ahead and done that. Another good thing to do, is good practice, is to make the IP address static as well. So then you can note that down, and that's the IP address it's always going to use. So I've gone and done both these things, and I'm ready to do next. Next screen says, would you like to turn on the router? Yes, turn it on. So the next part is where you can rename the actual SSID of this router and give it a password as well. And then finally, it should just come up and says, please wait while the Anyone device is being configured. Now back on the box, the sticker will go green, and that just means it's configuring. So it looks like the configuration is complete. We've got a pulsating green light just here on the sticker. While we're here, we might as well check the power consumption. So when it's all configured and done and running as a relay, it's using around about 5.5 watts of power, which is brilliant. And if you know me, you know I love low-powered crypto projects, and this certainly looks like it fits within that range of being low-powered. So now that it's all set up and running, you should be able to connect to this new hotspot just through your mobile phone. So I'm connected to the router and Wi-Fi is working great. So next up, I'm just going to show you around the dashboard. To get to the dashboard, you just go to the IP address of the router and put it in. You'll need to log in with the user ID and password. Once you've done that, you'll see this menu right here. You'll get a section for the network and it shows you some information right there. The IP address, etc. are all grayed out and you can reveal them with this button just here. So that saved me a job while I've been doing this video. And then you've got versions of the software installed on the actual router just there on the right hand side. And if you scroll down, there is a status section just here, giving you the temperatures of the box as well. The fan's currently off, so I guess when it gets to a certain temperature, that'll kick in. The most important line is this one just at the bottom with relay on it. And if we just hover over it, it tells us that all 4 of those requirements are ticked and it's fully reachable. On the right hand side, there's some identification IDs as well. So next up is interface. And if you click on network settings, in here, you can change the existing Wi-Fi name that it's connected to, and also the Wi-Fi hotspot details can be changed in here as well. Next tab is relay. In here, you can change the relay settings if you need to. Relay family, nothing on there at the moment. Proxy settings. And lastly, there's a section on system where you can change your password. There'll be some logs and you can update it as well. So that's it as far as the router is concerned. So let's have a little look at rewards and how they're paid out. So we've logged into the router and we've checked the reachability and the status and we know everything's working fine. We've also confirmed that the router itself is flashing blue or cyan like this. So that confirms the status is okay. So the next part is to claim the relay in the relay dashboard. So we'll click this link. By the way, the documentation's pretty good, so I'll leave a link again in the description where you can get to all these documents. So accessing the rewards dashboard, you just need to click any one of these links here. So once you get to the dashboard page, go ahead and connect your wallet here on the top right hand side. Once you're connected to your wallet, click on the relays tab. In there, you should see your relay appear. Now my relay did not appear in here instantly. It took about a day or 2 to arrive. When I got in touch with the project team, I was told it can take up to 5 days for a hardware router to appear. So if it doesn't appear immediately, just leave it a day or 2 and it should appear in there. Anyway, mine's arrived and I've got a nice big claim now button here on the right hand side. So let's go ahead and click that. So we'll sign the transaction. Sign that as well. And it says successfully claimed relay. And the status has now changed to claimed. So now that's done, let's go back to the setup guide. So this is a setup guide. So we've connected the wallet, locking anyone tokens. It says we don't need to do that because we've got a hardware relay. Claim registered relays, we've already done that. The next step is redeem contribution rewards. Redeem contribution rewards, so it says they should appear just down here in the redeem section. So if we flick over, we've got 0 at the moment because we've literally just claimed the relay. So at the moment this is 0, but this should change to redeem rewards once we've got some tokens in there. And it does mention that each week there'll be an airdrop of Ethereum Anyone tokens based on the testnet rewards. So the final section we're going to check on is reward status. So in terms of reward status, there's just some information there about how the rewards are split between hardware relays and all relays. It also mentions about prerequisites of rewards. It does say every wallet must hold 100 mainnet Anyone tokens for every relay registered. This excludes hardware relays, so we don't have to do that if you've got an actual router. And this bottom section just talks about some upcoming features as well, including a lock mechanism. So there you go, savages. That is the unboxing and setup of the Anyone router. It's currently still in pre-order. If you want to go ahead and buy it, it's available here on Enchantment. I'll leave a link in the description where you can buy this. And if you use the code HANDYMAN, you'll be able to get 5% discount. In fact, I'll show you how that works. So we've got the router right here. We're going to go ahead and add it to the cart. Click on checkout. In the discount code section just here, we're going to enter the code HANDYMAN. Click on apply and you're getting a solid 5% discount, which equates to $20. But don't worry, I'll leave links in the description That'll take you straight to the website to purchase the Anyone router. I'll also leave a link to the discount code. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below. Please subscribe, like and share. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you savages on the next one.